Why does this concept matter? ROI, relief, time, money, power, ease, and what happens if I don't fix it? The cost of staying the same. When you pitch your offer, it's never random. It is a natural ascension from what you're talking about to your offer.
Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome back to Did I Stutter with Jill Perick. We are in the last week of January, and actually I'm recording this in January because your girl got busy, and I'm feeling kind of behind with the pod, but it's all gonna get done. What you see in front of the scenes is me getting my podcast out and doing all the shit, and I just want to remind you of this very thing. I was actually having this exact thought as I was creating some content, and I was like going over this really strategic post that I was going to upload, and I got feedback on it, and I was like, okay, like I've spent some time on this because I want to be super thorough in this post. And I was thinking that nobody can see this shit behind the scenes. They only see the fact that you showed the fuck up and you said what you have to say with your chest. And I want you to remember this, that done is better than fucking perfect. I have coached many people, and there are a handful of people that I've coached before who, no matter how much we coach, no matter what reframes I give them, what structure I give them, I help them with their content, they just didn't do the work to show up. They just didn't do the work to take action and do what they needed to do. And they would sit on not creating and not being visible and not showing up for months and months and months when they could have been half-assing and showing up and being visible, and that would still be better. Half-ass is still better than not showing up at all. Now, I was having this conversation with a one-to-one client this week. There comes a point where you're making a certain amount. It's usually like 8K to 10K, and you're like, okay, if I'm going to go higher than this, if I'm going to make more, now it's about the quality. Now it's about how often am I showing up? What are the words that I'm saying? How much content can I actually upload and post? And how can I be more visible across different channels? But in the beginning, it was just a big fucking deal that I was showing up, and that I continued to show up no matter how shitty my content was, no matter how stupid I fucking sounded. And I just really wanted to say that to you, is nobody can see the rumination behind the scenes. Nobody can see that it took you an hour to create this post. Nobody can see that shit. So get out of your fucking head and create. And this is a perfect segue because I am pulling this podcast episode from one of the posts I made recently in the last couple of weeks. And that post was, in the last half of 2025, I made like 200 pieces of content and stacked almost 200K in sales because of it. I really amped up the volume of content I was creating. Now, as somebody who does this full time, this was still hard for me. I have a full roster of clients. I have a full personal life. I have a business that I run all on my own, right? I do all my own marketing, do all my own content. I do my podcast. I do my emails. Like, I do all of these things, right? I have a free channel, blah, 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 blah. So I am in a rhythm, and I was in a rhythm last summer. And the thing is, when you get in a rhythm sometimes with your capacity, it can feel like adding more feels like a lot and you're stretching beyond your capacity. And what people struggle with, and this is something we talk about all the time inside of the Real Deal Mastermind, is capacity and stretching your capacity to do more, to hold more, and to receive more. And a big piece of this is being able to do more without the fear of, oh my God, if I drop a ball, if I can't handle this, blah, 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 I'm going to spin out, I'm going to burn out, all of these fake fears that come up that are actually sabotaging you from hitting the next level. So for me, last summer, that looked like, okay, I schedule my posts. I have a piece of content that goes out every day, 5 days a week. I don't do it on the weekends. And I was like, now that's not good enough. I need to be posting at least 2 times a day and uploading something on the weekend. And that scared the shit out of me. It sounds so stupid because it's literally Instagram content. But I was like, I have to really challenge myself to do this. So I did. And then in the last half of the year, I made 200 pieces of content and stacked almost 200K in sales because of it, because I increased the volume of the things that I was saying and how I was showing up and my belief in myself and my offers and my conviction and in my sales. And now all my contracts, all my sales are reflected in the volume of content that I created in the last half of last year. And let me just say, my engagement didn't really change. Like, I don't have great engagement to begin with, and I have no issue with saying that because the depth into which I go, the specificity in which I go, that is what attracts dream clients. That is how I attract clients to all the work that I do and the offers I have. My sales and the results that I get, they are never indicative of the numbers on my social media, ever. And I had to learn that lesson a long time ago, that if I tried to equate the results I was getting or not getting because of engagement, I was gonna fucking flop. I was gonna fail because they just don't make sense, and they're not going to make sense. The data when it comes to social media doesn't actually fucking matter. Your story views, likes on a post. I had somebody purchase a $33 roast me audit, which you can still get, and you can get at the link in my bio, or the link in my show notes, sorry. And I was like, this person doesn't even follow me. Like, I have no idea where she came from. So that is something to also think about, is even though I was creating a lot, I also noticed, okay, well, this doesn't exactly change my follower count or my engagement or any of that kind of stuff. But again, because I don't care about that, I know that I can sign high ticket clients regardless because of the trust that I'm building, because of my leadership, because of the depth and the specificity that I put in the content that I create. I was totally okay with creating more and not seeing an immediate result, an immediate validation from creating all of this content. Okay. So all of that being said, let me tell you the 5 things that you need to do when you want to make 10K to 20K months from your fucking content. Okay. I create content, and that is my organic funnel to high ticket clients. I create content on my feed. I create content through email on my free channel. Like, I create content across multiple different platforms, and that is what drives clients to me. I am not currently caring about ads or anything like that. I know that I can use them in the future, and I've used them before, and I just don't need them. So in the future, that will potentially change. Sometimes I like boost an Instagram post here or there, and that sometimes works great. But for the most part, this is all through organic content and client attraction. Okay, attraction marketing. So when it comes to your actual post, though, the actual concepts and the things that you're talking about, first and foremost, when you create a reel, when you create a carousel, I want you to pick one concept and idea that your post centers around. You're not talking about 30 different things in a post. This is the benefit of volume content. You're not trying to cram all your knowledge and expertise into a single post. You have time and space to cover the scope of your work, right? When you're posting often. And when you hit on a very specific topic and blow it wide open, you are naturally showing the depth of your knowledge. You are naturally stating your authority and subtly stating your authority without having having to say, I'm an expert in XYZ and here's all the reasons why. If you hit on a specific experience or a specific problem that they're having or a specific circumstance that you experienced and what you learned from it and tied it to your offer, people see the depth of your knowledge because you can go deep on that topic. But why people don't do this is because they think they have to cram all of their knowledge and all of the information that they have to offer into a single post because they're probably not posting enough. So pick one concept and build that carousel or that reel around it. One mistake, one shift, one fix, one story, because specificity sells and depth sells. So for example, I made a post that was like, I signed a 5-figure client who initially said no because 3 weeks of consuming my free content gave her an ROI. So this specific post is about how I over deliver in my free content and how that leads to sales. It just talks about over delivering in free challenges, in free offers, blah, 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 and how that can lead to high ticket sales. Okay. It's really specific. I am so much deeper than that. I talk about imposter syndrome. I talk about content. I talk about mindset. I talk about higher self. I talk about all of these things, but this is super specific, and it's because I create a ton of content that I'm not afraid to get really deep on a specific thing. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to take more emotional risks. In 2026, you are going to take more emotional risks in your content. People don't give a fuck if you're smart. They give a fuck because you can demonstrate that you get them, that you see them, that you understand them, and you know that you can help them. And this comes from telling the truth. Even when you're scared, it will make somebody judge you. Everyone has the exact same thoughts. I think someone's going to judge me. I think they're going to see it and think I'm not an authority anymore if I tell the story. If I talk about an experience with a client, are they going to see it? Are they going to think it's about them? Like all of these circumstances, I'm afraid that my dad's going to see it, or my mom's going to see it, or my sister's going to see it, or my aunt's going to see it. Like everybody has these exact same thoughts. And it's not that people don't have these problems. It's that they actually see that it is more important for them to speak their truth and to be authentic, because that is what's going to blow up their business and make their content stand out versus caring more about the reaction from other people. Because your safe content will get comments like, this is so true and I've been through the same thing, but risky content gets DMs asking how somebody can work with you. If you're not cringing a little bit when you post it, if you're not thinking to yourself, fuck, I hope nobody sees this in my personal life, then you're not being risky enough in your content. Emotional risks equals specificity and honesty. The moment you stopped pretending, the thing you used to do, the fear that you had, the standard you hold now, the line you drew, the belief you're willing to be disliked for, the story of you driving for Uber Eats. I have signed multiple clients who have referenced that story. And that is something I doubled the fuck down on in the last half of the year in 2025. I started telling stories and I started being so much more honest about the client experience and the things that were happening and my seasonal depression and all this stuff. Like, for example, I posted it about my seasonal depression and how I was afraid. In the summer, I had just gotten out of the pool and I was on a walk with my doggies and I was having such a nice day. It was like 30 degrees out and I voice noted my coach and I was like, I'm afraid for it to be cold again. I'm afraid that they're going to close my pool and I'm going to be depressed. And we had a whole conversation around it because I was afraid of what that was going to look like when the winter came again, right? And I talked about that, and that post had 6 clicks to the link in my bio. And a potential client actually DM'd me about it. And she said when she ended up signing on, she was like, that was something that I also experienced. And it just really, really spoke to me. It isn't the entire reason as to why she's choosing to work with me, but things like this speed up and collapse time for you, for somebody to see that you get them, that you hear them, that you understand them, and that you can help them. Number 3 is to use assumptive language and embody confidence even if you don't fully fucking feel it yet, okay? Your words teach people how to treat you and how to act around you. they teach authority. If you write like you're unsure, that can be felt. If you write like you have belief in yourself and your work, people are going to naturally lean in. There is a frequency to your content. Assumptive language is just higher psychology. When you want X result, here's what you can do. You lean in. This is the reason why it's not working. You lean in. This is how you can work with me. They lean in. These are results that you're going to get when you do this work with me. They're going to lean in. If you say shit like, I'm not sure, but you could try, this could help if you want to, right? Premium buyers don't want optional energy. They want certainty. They're buying your belief as much as your strategy, because belief is what makes them feel safe handing you their money. So I uploaded something that says, if you declare that 2025 was your fucking year, and yet here you are in Q4 and feeling like your potential is still massively untapped, here's exactly what you're gonna do so you can blow up to 10K to 20K months. Warning, this is savage as fuck, so don't read if you're a sensitive little peach or you're in your luteal phase. So, for example, this post could say you could be making 10K to 20K months if you do these things. I could say that because it's true. Like you could. But if I say, if you do these things, you are absolutely going to fucking do this. That is said with more belief, with more conviction, and it's going to attract the person who is going to do whatever it takes to achieve that result. Okay? So using assumptive language. Number 4, connect back to your work. You people show up and you do your content and it's great value, but then you don't tie it back to your fucking offer. And sometimes you have to connect the dots for people. If your content doesn't connect back to your work, you're training your audience to consume you for free and then go fucking hire somebody else because you're not telling them how to take this work deeper. The psychology here is extremely simple because people don't automatically bridge the gap between this was helpful and I should pay her. Sometimes you have to bridge it for them. So when it comes to time to loop it back to your work, think about connecting the concept to your offer and answering the following questions. Why does this concept matter? ROI, relief, time, money, power, ease, and what happens if I don't fix it? The cost of staying the same. When you pitch your offer, it's never random. It is a natural ascension from what you're talking about to your offer. And being able to connect the very concept in that post and connecting it back to your offer is going to have them be like, oh yeah, she just talked about this. She's an authority in that. She told the story about this. And this is one of the things that we do inside of this offer, or this is the core thing we do in this offer. I need to buy it. Okay. Connect back to your work. And then finally, be so fucking annoying and repetitive and ignore the voice that says you are being too annoying and repetitive. And I literally had this conversation. We were having this conversation in the mastermind that I'm in because we all needed to be reminded that you're not being annoying. You are marketing. You are getting in people's face. You are taking up space. It's so unnatural for women to do that. It's so unnatural for us to show up and sell and take up space and be loud. We're so naturally conditioned to judge other people who do that. But people don't know to buy, or they don't know why they should buy if you're not repetitive, if you don't say the same thing a million fucking times. Be repetitive. Ignore the voice that says you're being too fucking repetitive. As much as it feels like to you, repetition is not annoying and actually builds massive trust between you and your ideal clients. Your buyer needs to hear the same message through different moods, different problems, different weeks, different objections. Not everybody sees every one of your posts or your results. You think you're repeating yourself because you are inside your business 24/7. But the people who are ready to buy, who are going to buy, they need consistency, not just creativity. They don't need you to drop something new every single day. They need you to be fucking consistent and repetitive so they can trust you. And as an example to that, I have made many posts over the past couple of months that I have repurposed, and every single time different people engage with the content, different people like it, or they send it to me and they're like, oh, this was super helpful. And I'm like, I posted this a couple of months ago and you didn't see it then, but they're seeing it now. Be fucking repetitive. These are the 5 things you need to do when you want to make 10K to 20K months from your content. Again, pick one concept / idea that your post centers around, whether it's a reel or a carousel, whatever the fuck it is. Take emotional risks, tell stories, be honest, be forthcoming, be truthful, use assumptive language and embody confidence even if you don't fully feel it yet. Connect always back to your work and be fucking repetitive. And when you want 10K to 20K months from premium clients consuming your content, you need to be in a container that makes these 5 things feel so normal and natural, and have it be something you do every single time you post without even thinking about it. I do all of these things without even having to think about it. How? Because I know exactly what I need to say and how I need to show up to sign high ticket clients. And I also have my content looked at often. And if you want 10K to 20K months, again, from high ticket clients, you need to have your content looked at often so you don't miss the massive blind spots that are leaking sales. And inside the Real Deal Mastermind, that's exactly what you get. And you learn how to focus on one concept per post so your message stops sounding scattered and starts sounding like fucking leadership. You learn how to take emotional risks so the right buyers feel seen and DM you like, okay, Jill, how the fuck do I work with you? You learn how to use assumptive language and conviction so you stop marketing yourself like an option. You learn how to make a clean connection to your offer so your content actually leads to sales, and you learn how to use repetition as a strategy so you become trusted and fucking memorable. And this is where your content stops just being fucking inspiration and starts being the foundation of your 10K to 20K months. And when you're ready, send me a DM on Instagram at your coach Jill and let's start the conversation. I love y'all and I'll see you in February.